Hi everyone, welcome back or welcome to the Paulina Perspective podcast. I am your host Leslie and I am glad you clicked on today's episode and gave yourself an opportunity to grow and strengthen your mental well-being a little bit more today. First of all, Happy New Year, literally February by the way, but I hope you stuck to your resolutions and still are, as it's only been 1 month in. I'm currently doing 75 soft actually, and it is day 32 for me I believe, which is crazy to say out loud, but the next video or the next vlog actually will be a week in my life doing this challenge, just to give you an insight on what that looks like for me, especially as a college student, and generally in case any of you might want to do this challenge for yourselves. So stay tuned for that, but without further ado, let's jump into today's topic. I'm actually excited to talk about this, and at first I kind of told myself to maybe not go through with it because I thought it would be seen as a joke until I got into my focus bubble and got so deep into thought. And now we're here, and I hope you enjoyed today's conversation about reaching a flow state. So, if you're unfamiliar with this phrase, being in a flow state is being fully present, fully focused, and it's been a trend on TikTok. I see it on Insta Reels just because I prefer to be on Instagram. Sorry, not sorry. But it's been a trend on TikTok where someone would be doing something they're really good at and reaches that point where everything else gets blocked out entirely. So, for instance, if I'm curling my hair and usually like my arms will get tired, but in that moment my arms won't get tired because I've already gone through like half of it and I'm like locked in to finish the other half. Or if someone's on the stairmaster and they could low-key go faster because they're not as tired. Yeah, hopefully you get the gist. But I wanted to open this up a little bit more, since the reason it feels so good is because you don't have to feel anything else. Everything internal and external gets blocked out. So as I talk about reaching flow state, it will be talked about as in seeing yourself ultimately successful. It's healing, but it's also just covering up something if you don't go into it with the right mentality. We tend to act like being in a flow state is something you can choose to do, but that ignores how much stability your body and environment need first. You can't just get in the zone if your environment, your mentality, or your general well-being is too much to handle. And the reason I thought this was an important topic is because we're expected to be better every new year and have these tremendous goals, which rightfully so, but it often neglects the origin of the problem, us. It really is no one's fault that you procrastinate, or that you don't keep a good diet in mind, or that you don't keep your own word even when it's for your own good. And likewise, we think flow is about discipline or that it's just talent, but it's actually about safety. Your brain won't fully focus if your environment or your mentality or your general well-being is on alert. If your nervous system is on alert, you won't be able to regulate yourself and process what's happening or process your emotions to be 100% committed to something. Yes, it does get into discipline down the line, but in the beginning of any change, why do you think some of us have to hype ourselves up before doing anything new or anything uncomfortable? Why do you think we're told to talk to people who may have been in this particular scenario before, or to plan for any alternatives just in case? That's our nervous system talking and taking charge. It's our natural instinct to worry and prevent change because we're safe doing what we've been doing, that a change seems like you're doing too much. But if you feel that way, you're actually not doing enough. For instance, reaching a flow state is so addictive because the voice in your head goes quiet. And not to sound like, oh, the voice is in my head, but genuinely, there's almost no self to manage, no judgment to carry on yourself, and it's a relief. However, that being a relief should already raise a flag. Why don't I feel this way on a daily basis? What's keeping me so tense, and can I get rid of it within the next hour? I say within the next hour because if you lay out a solid plan for yourself, a realistic plan too, it'll lay off pressure from, okay, what time is going to work for me tomorrow to work out, to read, or to study. 1 hour is more than enough time to grab a piece of paper and create the freest brainstorming map about how you truly feel, and will show what your current priorities are. And it's important to do so on paper, and I really push that forward because doing everything online isn't going to get you anywhere. It is not going to sink in with you the way that your writing would, and you'll end up ignoring it even if it's set as a reminder, because it'll just be another notification on your phone. And truly, that's where people lose to themselves. They lose the urge because it's too much work to plan, to continue that spark or that want or that hunger for weeks and months to follow. I would get into what I'm doing and how I get myself to do the daily habits every day, but I will save it for the vlog because it'll all be in one and it'll be easier for you to connect the dots. But one of the biggest notes to take away from this episode is, if you don't start paying attention to how detrimental your habits could be right now, at your grown age by the way, jokingly and not jokingly, then I don't know what you expect from others, and I don't know what you expect from yourself if you're not the one to initiate anything. You have to surround yourself with people who are hungry for more, who are seeking genuine change and betterness, and who are overall good people to be around. You're not going to get anywhere if you're easily influenced and convinced that you have to go out on a Friday night. Oh, but you only live once. Exactly. You only have this once. You're experiencing today as it's happening now, and you'll experience tomorrow once unless you tell someone about it. But even then, your words don't mean anything if your actions aren't matching them. And honestly, in my eyes, the more I come across people who say things like, damn, I wish I'd done this when I was your age, or damn, if only I knew about this sooner. There are a variety of resources out there. You just have to set some time to look into it and to do your own research and to find out what works for you. This is why professors, teachers, counselors, anyone really who has lived most of their life already, to ask questions, to be curious, to think outside the box, and to be creative with it. Now, something that can happen is you trying to reach that flow consciously, even though it takes you to just work without the intention of seeing it as a physical place. You should not be seeing success as a physical point in your life when you're in that room, when you're on that floor in the building, when you have a piece of paper that says yada yada yada. Because what's going to happen when you reach it? What's going to happen if you reach it sooner than later, than that deadline that you put yourself to? What's going to happen actually if you go past the deadline you gave yourself? Many of us began to follow a plan, maybe years ago, or maybe still in today's realm of things, that you should be following a plan, that you should be giving yourself a deadline, timeline if you will, about when things should happen for you. But the reason why you feel behind or that you're not doing so good compared to others is because you're thinking of it as a race, and thinking of it as society has structured all of us really to think about adulthood and to think about how our journey to success should be like. If you're going to take anything from today's episode, let it be that the harder you try to reach a flow state, the further away it gets. And I say that at the same time thinking of this reel that I've been seeing a lot. It comes up on my For You page a lot, and I like it when it does because it's funny, but also it reminds me that we're not supposed to be on the same path. We're not supposed to be getting on the same train, on the same boat, or on the same plane. But the reel says, sometimes you're not invited to the function because you don't do coke. And that's okay. With the subtitle being, sometimes you're not invited to the function because your lifestyle convicts theirs. In 2026, we should all have the decency, love, and self-respect to walk away from things that are holding us back. Not because I need to lock in and reach that life, or I need to be there no matter what, or I need yada yada yada. Maybe the point isn't to chase flow. Maybe it's to notice when it happens and the conditions that made it possible. And I find that to truly be the beauty of outgrowing an ugly habit, of outgrowing a troubled past, and most importantly, in outgrowing people who just can't seem to be happy for your success, or who just don't accept that you want better. For instance, I have this friend who has been making a really good effort to come with me to the gym every here and there whenever she can. Shout out you, friend. And 100% there would be people who you come across that just don't accept you doing better than them. And you definitely notice it very quick into whatever challenge or whatever movement you make for yourself. By the way, I'm not saying my friend is like this. Hold on. I bring up my friend because it's nice to see that in a time where you test not only yourself but your circle and your environment, you also invite determined, genuine energy around you. And it's important that you pay attention and follow through with those kinds of people. You can't always win, but you can definitely pick your poison of going where the grass is greener because of your efforts, or staying where the grass is greener as long as you change your faint grass every once in a while when it gets ugly. Wrapping up here, and in all seriousness, people so often skim through social media scrolling for hours like it's nothing. So irresponsibly, to be honest. And it all comes down to the choice you made when you woke up this morning. And it will come down to the choice you make when you wake up tomorrow morning as well. Instead of there being an emphasis on how good you'll feel internally and externally at the end of a challenge like 75 hard or 75 soft, there's an emphasis on how hard it is to follow through with something like that. It is not that hard. There is no excuse to you not putting in the time, not making the time, and not putting in the amount of effort you need to be better for yourself, for your relationship, for your environment. There is no excuse to why you haven't started doing something for yourself. Don't paralyze your thinking based on what other people are telling you. Test out the waters, do the research you need to do to convince yourself about something, but you don't need more time. You don't need permission, and you don't need the perfect moment. You need to make the decision to stop waiting for life to happen for you. You are responsible for what goes on in your life. And at some point, choosing yourself isn't being dramatic or selfish. It's necessary. And that moment for you is right now. Thank you for watching this week's episode. I hope you took some good things to consider. I hope you are all doing well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment on any topic suggestions you want me to open up, or on any video suggestions as well. Share with anyone who you think might need to hear this. Turn on post notifications so that you don't miss any new uploads, and follow me on Instagram for updates on when videos are coming out as well. Have a great rest of your day and week, and I'll talk to you all again soon.